Awakening with Brahma Kumaris.
Namaskar, and we extend a very warm welcome to you in Awakening with Brahma Kumaris. We have traveled a little bit maybe, but then we have reached a level where we understand who am I. I am a soul, a peaceful, loving, pure soul. It makes me really happy and good. But then if I look back at what we discussed, we realize that I, the soul, works in three faculties. I create thoughts and then I take a decision. Then, whatever decision has been taken, I do an act, and that act gets stored as an impression or sanskar. From here, let's move over and try to find out more about it, the relationship with myself, how I can really develop it, and how I can accept it. And to take us through this journey, as always, it's a great privilege to have Brahma Kumari, Sister Jayanti, who is the European Director of Brahma Kumaris and also the NGO representative in United Nations in Geneva. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti and Namaskar.
Namaskar. You've really given us an insight about who am I. You really answered that question, and it's a comfortable feeling because I am that beautiful being. But then, at times, the doubts are still there. You've taken us through that journey, that how to really continuously remember that who am I. But then, the relationship between me and myself, that needs to be strengthened now.
It's strange because there would be the question, but how do I have a relationship with myself? Surely I am who I am and that's it. But in fact, just like when you and I spend a little bit of time with each other, as we have done, then we get to know each other. And as we begin to know each other, we can respect each other. And according to that, the loving relationship between us will also develop. And if I ask myself the question, do I love? Do I value? Do I respect myself? Then for most people, they would say, but I don't know what that even means. To love myself, value myself, and respect myself. And the reason is exactly as the same as in other relationships. I haven't given time to myself to be able to know myself and appreciate myself and value myself.
Wonderful. I think it becomes very clear because I do value you. I do respect you. I do love you because I've talked to you. I've understood you.
Right. And
Yeah.
the same process happens inside. And we haven't thought about it like this. And so many of the problems that arise in the world, the competitiveness that we have, the jealousies that we have, the struggles that we have, come because of lack of self-respect. When there's discontent, again it means that things are not right within. And whether it's been your experience or not, you must have seen it happen in others. You start a day very content, and the world is very beautiful. It seems beautiful, but things work out well. It is beautiful. You start the day, for some reason or another, they say the wrong side of bed, but if your bed's against a wall, you can't. But it must mean something. But it means that you started the day off on the wrong foot, and things are not right inside. Then everything you do will seem to have a shadow over it, and everybody you come into contact with, you'll be making them uncomfortable also, because the things you say will not be very pleasant. The vibration you put out, people at work will say, stay away from her today. Better not to approach her today.
Yeah, today's not a good day, actually. Yeah.
That's right.
That really happens. Yes.
Yeah. So it's an indication that however I am inside with myself, that's what then gets projected outside with others. And so is it possible to reach a stage where every day, truly, I can be comfortable with myself, content with myself, filled with gratitude for what the divine and the universe have given me, so that then I'm sharing that feeling of goodness and positivity, of gratitude and thankfulness with all those I'm in contact with through the day. You can see how if there's a stone you throw into a pond, the ripples have a far-reaching effect. In the same way, wherever it is I go, whatever it is that's happening within me, those ripples spread out far and wide, and sometimes I don't even know what is the impact I've had on others and for how long it's lasted, but there's definitely an impact.
Even if I don't say anything.
Your vibrations are enough. You walk into the room and people say, stay away.
Yeah,
Because,
I do, exude that negativity actually, yes, that happens.
So you don't have to say anything. Your eyes, your face, your body language, your vibrations all speak loud and clear. Sometimes it's very solitary. You're putting up a barricade and saying, don't come near me. And sometimes it's very warm and inviting and open. You're saying, yeah, come, let's talk, let's communicate, let's work together. So that's what happens with everybody. But we tend to think that maybe it's just, the season, the climate, and all these external
Or
things.
it's like, it's natural, once in a while it's okay.
Yeah.
But is it okay?
If I think about the natural state of water, the natural state of water is coolness. You heat it, and then artificially it becomes so hot it can even scald you. But leave it, and again it'll return back to its natural state. So the natural state of the soul, Om Shanti, is peace. Aggression and violence are not the natural state of the soul.
I can feel that peace is the inherent quality. But when we really get violent, there's so much of violence, and violence at times attract as well, Violence at times looks like the only solution. At times aggression looks the only solution.
And yet if you look at history, violence and aggression have never been a solution. They say things like we have to fight for peace. But how can I fight and achieve the result of peace? So it's unnatural to have violence and aggression. This is why we are not comfortable with it. I can be peaceful for hours, but I can't be aggressive for hours. It's not natural. My blood vessels will burst. So it really is highly unnatural. But what's happened is that the imprints that we are carrying are mixed. A few good ones and a few bad ones. But the influences that come from outside today are all negative influences, generally speaking. Sometimes you have a very pure environment, an ashram, a good person, a holy person, a temple, a church, or whatever it may be. And you have that influence which calms you down. But generally speaking, the influences are very negative influences. And so the responses and reactions that get triggered and get stronger and stronger are the forces of negativity.
But in our life, I think it's not that we'll always be in that atmosphere which is peaceful. We'll have to live in a world where all kind of atmosphere will be given to us. So how is that my relationship with myself? One, how to actually let the outer influences not enter within me, not let me be really perturbed. And the second aspect of it is that I said the relationship with you has made me really look up to you, respect you, love you. I really keep you at a very high esteem. Can I do that to me also?
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. And I think it starts with that understanding that in my original state, I am a being which has these qualities of goodness. And so take time to reflect on that and to really grasp that fact. And you begin to feel that the qualities of goodness are the things that you're comfortable with, the things that actually are there within the soul, that the soul is also wanting to develop and experience more and more. And as you begin to believe it, then you begin to work on yourself and you get in touch so that then those natural qualities have more and more of a chance to express themselves and manifest themselves in your life. Anything that you take time to reflect on goes very deeply into the soul. An example, if I hear a story and I don't think about it, it's gone, it's finished. But there's something that's happened and I begin to think about it. It goes really deep. And the more time I spend thinking about it, the deeper it goes. And it's like, writing. every time you write on that same letter, the imprint is stronger and stronger and you can't erase it. Same thing. Let me spend time thinking, reflecting on who I am. And as I do this, I'll connect more and more deeply with those qualities, and I can feel how natural they then are to me. And you spoke about, well, how do you keep that safe in the environment of today's world? You know, there's a state where I can be peaceful, but there's another state in which I'm peaceful to the extent that others don't have an influence on me. But there's another state in which the power of peace is such that it's able to spread out and influence others and make others become peaceful also. So that's something that we can aspire to do. I was also thinking about how, because we don't know ourselves, we're not able to be comfortable with ourselves. Self-esteem and lack of self-respect is a reality in today's world. And so intolerance and conflict that we see in the world today everywhere is rampant because we've lost value for the self, because we don't know the self.
Yeah, that's very important, because somewhere the insecurity about myself, but I'm not good. I'm not good enough. That must have got converted into that, yes, then how will I have the power on the other person?
Yes.
Wow, I think it's very clear now.
Yeah.
That somewhere the basics is that I have to have that value of my own self.
That's right.
I think, how will the other person will value? They can't, unless until I'm going to value myself.
And also it works on the other level, where I respect myself, then I'm not going to ask you for respect, but I'm able to then give respect to others. And in giving respect, it automatically comes back to me. But I don't ask for it. But where I'm insecure, I want acknowledgement, I want respect, I want recognition, I want honor, I want praise. And so I'm in that situation where I'm needy. And so if I'm empty inside, I may have everything out there, but that neediness inside is going to lead me into wrong actions.
Wonderful, Sister Jayanti, because this is somewhere when, in fact, even love, forget about self-respect and self-esteem. What we ask today, in today's scenario, is love. We keep on asking for it. We say the other person doesn't love me, they don't love me. So somewhere I think we don't even love ourselves.
It's an absolute fact. You see, I remember a very senior yogi telling a group of young people at one point, when somebody had complained, but nobody loves me. She said to them, have you tried giving love? And a few days later, the same young person came to her saying, came with a beautiful big smile, and Daddy said to them, what happened? Daddy, I did what you told me. I started to give love. And if I can love myself, then I'm able to give love to others. If I don't love myself and appreciate myself, I can't give, and I'm not able to receive. And that's when I complain.
That's actually, I think that's a fact of life. But Sister Jayanti, we accept it. Again, at this level, we understand it. But coming into the real life, how do I achieve that, How do I really respect myself? Is there a way to really respect myself, to love myself, to understand, or maybe feel that I am that peaceful being, or maybe to propagate peace,
One of the things that happens in terms of self-respect is, if you look within, what's going on is a tug of war very often, and many tugs of war. But one of the tugs of war that happens is between my own innate values and my conscience and my emotions. And so on the one hand, my own original quality and my own innate value is that of love. But I've been damaged emotionally. I'm carrying lots and lots of feelings of hurt. And so on the one side, I am love. On the other side, I'm remembering the pain. I don't even know what pain, but just that pain that I carry. And then on the third side, my vivek, my conscience is telling me, but it's right that I should be giving. and yet I'm not able to give
Because
because
I don't
my
want to.
pain.
I'm hurt. I
Yeah.
feel bad. I'm angry. Because that hurt is making me angry. I don't want to
Yeah.
give.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that.
So, when I talked about meditation being a process of cleansing, it is really that. My conscience should be very clean so that I can understand the difference between falsehood and illusion, between good and bad. In today's world, many people will say, do what you want, it doesn't matter. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong, everything is on how you feel.
It's relative. Like there's one term which
That's
actually we
right.
got addicted to is relative.
Yes, yes, exactly. And so it seems that we've moved from a state of values to a state where we recognize those values, but we felt it was not possible to follow them. And now we've got to a state where we don't even acknowledge that those values are correct anymore. It's like morality to immorality to amorality, where you say, there's nothing like that. So this is why this world is now described as Kali Yuga, the Dark Age. And so the starting point, I have to know who I am. I have to bring about unity and harmony inside of myself so that everything works in synchronicity, everything works in congruence. Otherwise, my mind is going here, my intellect is going there, my sanskars are going all over the place, and that's why I'm not at peace with myself. If I want to respect myself, it's not going to happen just by chanting something. It has to happen in the way that you describe, in a real way. And I can start respecting myself if I start following the voice of my conscience. If I align my thinking, my thoughts, and my conscience together, so that what my conscience tells me is what I think about, and that's what I do and say, then I begin to feel comfortable. And more as I do this, my quality of respect for myself will grow, because I'll begin to feel that I'm being authentic, that it's really genuine, that it's not that I say something and I do something else, but everything is aligned together. My thinking, my speaking, my doing, and it's following the dictates of my conscience. If I listen to that quiet inner voice within, that is my guide. But so often, inside, the voice is saying something, and you say, oh, never mind, I'm not going to bother with that, I'm still going to do it. Maybe the influence of company, maybe the bad habits I've picked up, whatever it may be. But I ignore that voice. And so to come to that state of love for the self and value for the self, these have to come together. And then also you see there's the situation where my heart, my feelings are saying something, and my brain and my logic are saying something else.
That's a
Now
big
that's
thing.
a big divide.
Yeah, it goes really this way. And then who takes over? At times my logic takes over, at times my heart takes over, my emotions take over.
Okay.
So where do I...
So again, the important thing for me is the subject of cleanliness, which is that state of purity, that state in which I am in that pure, clean state that I was when I started my journey. And if I can check the feelings of my heart and just explore that and see, well, what is the motive that's there? My feelings are saying do this, do that, or do the other, but just look a little bit deeper. The Hindi word bhavna, feelings, also means the word motive. And so let me just check, what is the motive that I have in terms of holding these feelings? And if I can clean out those feelings, then yes, my bhavna, my heart, is going to carry me in the right direction. Because sometimes you can't work just with logic. And it's the reality that the two hemispheres of the brain have to work together. You can't be dysfunctional.
They can't be in conflict, actually.
Yeah, then
But,
really.
I just want to ask you something. Before we get into that meditational aspect, it's like when we talk about working through your logic, at times we're able to tell, the logic is there, that okay, that's not right, and it's easier to deal with logic. But when the force of emotions is there, it's one of the most I have felt that, and I think a lot of people, it must be the force of emotions is so strong. That is something, we, because you just get carried away with that. You're not able to actually, there's no logic which works.
That's why the pause button is very important. Don't get carried away by your feelings. Press the pause button. Om Shanti. Let me just stop for a minute and connect with the purest feelings that I have inside of myself. Let me connect with the elevated emotions of love and faith that are there within the soul. And then let me look at the emotions that I have now. So you're right, logic can't deal with emotions, but pure feelings and emotions can change the negative feelings and emotions and bring you back on track.
I understand that, because that's a very, very strong force, and if it can be converted into real positivity, actually we can change the world.
I think so.
Great. So, taking us from those emotions, the force of negative emotions, to a positive emotions, again, the bridge is meditation. So, we reach that stage where you take us through that process of meditation.
Yes, indeed. I let the body relax. And I come to the awareness of the inner being, the soul. I, the soul, detach my thoughts from the world outside and even my body itself. And I travel into the world inside. I reach that center point of stillness and calm, where I connect with my own higher state of being. The state of truth. And I realize that I had allowed my truth to be polluted and diluted. And I now let go of all the external things that I was holding on to, so that internally I am clean and I can recognize that eternal truth, aware of the truth within. I begin to understand what it means to have happiness. Truth within allows me to experience joy in the state of cleanliness, in the awareness of truth. Joy is natural. It is part of my own being, part of my identity. And the joy that I have is abundant. It flows out and reaches out into the world. Joy flows out into the universe. Removing the pain and the sorrow of others. I hold this experience clearly in my awareness. I come back into the physical realm, knowing that I, the soul, am here to share through actions. But I come back with this truth and joy, so that this is visible in my life, here and now. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. It's a true feeling actually. It's only that I want to retain it each moment of my life. And what we have today learned is a relationship which we can have with my own self. Thank you, Sister Jayanti. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
We meet so many people in a day, and every time we create a relationship. But when we were introduced to ourselves, time to really develop this relationship with ourselves. Remember that I am that beautiful, pure, loving, peaceful, happy, true being. And actually, the moment I understand, I accept, I can have a wonderful relationship with myself. And then gradually, this relationship will propagate and reach out to many other people. You must be having many queries, many questions. You're always welcome. You can share your thoughts, your queries with us. You can call us up or you can mail your queries.
If you wish to discuss your problem or have a question to ask or want to know your nearest Raj Yoga Meditation Center, call us on 09999744555.
Time to take your leave, but then there are still more questions. But till we meet again, let's try to feel and experiment with this relationship of with my own self. Till we meet again, do take care and stay in peace. Awakening with Brahma Kumaris will be back. We'll meet then. Take care.
Om Shanti Om. I'm a peaceful soul. Om Shanti Om. I'm a peaceful soul. ये ध्वनि मंगल ध्वनि है. Om Shanti.